Thank you so much. Let's say welcome to Central TV. This is you prime time comes your way every Friday at 9 o'clock. We are very sorry for the technical problem in studio, but thank God we are back. So let's say welcome to our followers. We want to say thank you for always subscribing to Central Communication Network. And let's say thank you to all of you who have tried your best one way or the other to keep following Central TV for more information for quality news presentation and of our talk shows with all of our hosts. Today is Youth Prime Time, and I'm honored to have in studio Mr. Amos P, Dara Sibus Jr., and Elijah T. Johnson, who will join us very shortly. But as the famous saying say, "Time wait for no man." We will keep on going with the show until they can join us in the shortest possible time. So, Emo, welcome to studio.
Thank you,
Thank you, Lucifer, and good evening and good morning to my people listening to me. I'm Amos Bubaki from Rivers County, Republic of Liberia, and I'm the youth ambassador of the Golden Generation Association of Liberia. So it's a pleasure being on the show.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It's a pleasure being on the show. We are great to have you here. Tell us about your leadership roles in other entity, governmental or private sector.
Yes, Lucifer,
yes, Lucifer. I
I
have
have
been,
been working
I
in
have been working
government.
in government, in the private sector, and I started as a clerk, assistant clerk at the Mawe Manishua Court, and where I worked for a year or two. And personally, I'm running a youth group within the Rivers County, where I serve as executive director. And this group was founded since 1985, and not just a youth leader, but I'm an advocate for my county. And in my given county, I serve as a manager for the Church Business Center because I studied IT, and so I have worked in the communication sector from the first of my word, where I work as technical director of the Voice of Mawet 2022 up to the election, where I received a accreditation from NEC to cover election process. So I have been in the media for time, and I understand the media, not the so short. If we come to the social media, I'm not very fluent with it, but when it comes to the media outlet where we are discussing radio, I worked on the radio for a year or two, where I serve as I serve as technical director at the Voice of Mowe, and personally, um, in a field as a youth advocate, where I'm running a big youth group within Riverside County.
So
Let
thank
me
you,
just
Amos.
interject real quick. There is a feedback that's coming out of Amos Bay. It's either you had that from a speaker or you are too close to the monitor. So it's just adjust the setting a little bit, and then you guys can continue.
Thank you, Leon. Thank you so much for uh, the free something. Amos, so you need to address yourself a little bit. Is everything okay? Amos, talk to me. Is everything okay?
Is that
Amos, we are still observing the feedback. The feedback.
Okay, so we gotta do adjustment.
So we want to say thank you again. So while Amos is doing adjustment today, our discussion online will be talking about the today's protest at the United Methodist University. Student protesting peacefully concerning the increasement of school fees, tuition fees at the um, United Methodist University. But however, this is Liberia too, and at a certain point in time, we have to accept, and at a certain point in time, we need not to accept such. But we can not tell all the exact story that happened at the United Methodist University. What is it that the increasement of tuition at the university? But today we observe students carrying on peaceful protests. But the world we live in economically, we are not, parents are not financially strong, and looking at over 100% person living in the Republic of Liberia and that need to adjust to sponsoring a child or children in high school and colleges or universities in Liberia, basically. So now, holistically, we take a look at a person not affording a full tuition for a child in high school, looking at the university level. I think before the may his soul rest in peace, before the past president who died uh some part of this year, who died, I think everything was stable. But we are very sorry we're supposed to have one of the student council leader on this platform who was going to tell us more about the issue about the United Methodist University peaceful protest from the students. And today we'll also be talking about youth in leadership nationwide. We have noticed that in the Baga-led government, there are so many youth that are leading the way. One could be the Minister of Youth and Sport. The Minister of Youth and Sport is actually paving the way for young people in and around Liberia. Example could be just recently there was a job vacancy, a vocational job vacancy, wherein the institution needed over 3,500 students. But then to tell you that the job rate in Liberia is very, very high. Over 8% applied, 8,000, 8,000 person applied to cover the vocational job something. But let's jump back to Amos. Amos, what's your thought about the peaceful protest that has been held today at the United Methodist University that raised concern about parents, raised concern to parents in the increasement of tuition at the United Methodist University?
Yeah, first of all, Josepha, let me say, and you know, per our constitution, everybody have the right to peaceful assembling. So the student were right because it is a constitutional mandate that it is two ways. If things are not going right, you use the diplomatic means by putting on pen and paper. If the person cannot hear to it, then you use the radical approach, which is the peaceful protest that were staged today by the UMU students. They were, for me, in my capacity, I would say they were right. Because in the heart of Monrovia, if we see that university who have over 5,000 students within the country, and a university who have put out 8,000 to 10,000 students are graduate, to have that campus within the capital, for me, Josepha, I would say they were right, because you cannot have such a place and continue to raise your school fees, continue to raise your requirement fee. Because if you follow the protest and follow other media outlet, it will see that people were paying $15 per credit, and overnight, you came up with 25% increasement, increasing your school fees, increasing your requirement, and you are not building a structure for people to see and say, oh yes, the people are increasing because they want to build or they want to relocate. But year in, year out, UMU is still using that same campus. And if you follow the protest, the students said things. They said their computer lab is not up to date. Their science lab is not up to date. They are ranking university in Liberia. UMU is like is about at the third place, ranking in Liberia now. UMU. So for UMU campus to be for the class to be leaking, Josepha, for me in Liberia at that time, no. It is saddening to hear that UMU have a class that is leaking. It is saddening to hear that UMU have a lab that is not up to date, and they are there giving doctorate degree. They are giving master degree to people. So it's like our people just go there, pay their school fees, sit in one small class. Josepha, you know that UMU is not a grade school. UMU is a full-fledged accredited university. And you know, a university, when we say university, you know what we are speaking of. So the student were right to do the protest, but you know, automatically protest is not just free and fair in Liberia, because people will have the notion that during the protest I will go and loot, and I will go and steal from the university.
Amos, we are not hearing you. The audience are not hearing you. So, you know, the increasement in tuition at the United Methodist University, a full-fledged university that has been accredited by Higher
You
Commission
get
on
me?
Education. Yeah, Amos, you are muted. Can you unmute yourself and speak?
Josepha, Josepha, you get me now? You know our internet
Amos,
problem is in Liberia is too bad of.
okay. Is everything okay? Can you speak to that?
Josepha,
Yeah, are you hearing me?
you get me?
I'm hearing you. I'm hearing you, but you kind of breaking in. So Amos, you can leave the line and
Yeah,
reconnect. Yeah, leave the line and
you get me now,
reconnect. Let's see.
Josepha?
Leave the line and reconnect. Are you getting me? Leave the line and reconnect, Amos. So what we were discussing, looking at the computer lab is not up to date. You know, you should increase school fees. You should increase the tuition fee when there is a perfect schedule. Like I said, United Methodist University is a full-fledged university. When you read about the history, these are universities that started, that have been part of the history of the Republic of Liberia. It's being accredited by Higher Commission on Education at the Ministry of Education. Have accreditation. They are offering BSc, they are offering AA degree, and they are offering masters. Can you imagine that? And looking at the computer lab, it's not up to date. And looking at the structure, they may probably they might have projects of which they increase the tuition fees. We cannot speak to that. But allegedly, it has been alleged that students were protesting because of increasement in tuition. And let's call for the parents' attention to this matter. This matter is very serious in our country, where if you spend your hard-earned money looking forward to your child or children, knowing fully well that they went to school, and looking at this situation happening at the school campus, it's not a good sign for the educational system in Liberia. If there should be an increasement in the United Methodist University school tuition fees, then it should be clear. Like I said to you earlier, we are very sorry, but actually, one of our guests is actually trying his best way to connect, but I don't know why he's not really going to. He's one of the representation of the Student Council government at the United Methodist University. I think he was going to provide a detailed explanation on what led to this protesting of the students. We have leadership. What was the leadership? What was the role of the leadership that led to the students protesting today at the campus, at the main campus? And I heard from one of my group comrade that is studying public administration there, saying that while students were protesting, other professors were also giving a test. So it means that it was not serious. But like Amos said, we do that to grab people's attention. It's constitutional. That's the right of every citizen. That's the right of every citizen. So it's constitutional. I love the peaceful protest, calling for the attention of parents, calling for the attention of the Ministry of Education, calling forth the attention of the government of the Republic of Liberia. Today, we have many things on our mind, many things in our country that affect our youth today. You look at youth are not actually taking the lead. Youth doesn't want to be on the front page. But I love the way the Braga-led government is doing it. I love the way the Braga-led government is bringing more participation of youth. Let's say congratulations, Mr. President, His Excellency, Dr. Joseph Yimampuaka, for the inclusive leadership style that he brought by bringing in the youth. And Minister Kura, you are doing extremely well. We have seen the difference comparing 2025 cantonment, comparing 2024 cantonment, comparing 2023 cantonment, comparing 2022, 2021 up to 2020 sports cantonment. Tomorrow is a cantonment draw. And I can tell you for sure, people can wait. Now, if you visit the Samakaya Sport Complex, it's already getting jam-packed because people are in their numbers. People, counties from all counties, Nema, Riverset, Sando, Bon, Bapolu, Grand Bassa, Magibi, Mosurado. Just go there and share your team. And share your team to victory. And see which group your country going to fall in. And let's see who are those you're going to be challenging. So one of the main things in this is the issue about leadership. The issue about leadership. Leadership have a very vital role, an essential role. Leaders are people who take the lead. Leaders are people who show the example, bring about difference. But let me pause and welcome D. Samuel Sipu Jr., one of the vibrant students of the United Methodist University. Welcome in studio, Mr. Sipu.
Yeah, thank you, Joseph. Am I clear?
Yeah, you are clear. You are live.
Yeah, so thank you for the opportunity. Let me say thank you to the folks of Sandra TV for always providing a platform for the people for us to be heard and to discuss critical issues as it relates to our national development. So it's a pleasure once more. I think this is my second appearance on the show. So it's a pleasure to be here back again.
Thank you so much. That's a pleasure. Your second time appearing on Central Communication Network, Central TV. The family is happy. Our family is happy to receive you once again. Tell us more about the peaceful protest that was held today at the United Methodist University.
So thank you. I think the protest to some extent I was not in favor of the protest to some extent. I think you know my stance as a student advocate and also a student of the university. But there are things in decision making and there are procedures in or let's just say handling issues. Now, if, what was the purpose of student protesting today? That's one question the public need to know. And what steps or what group of students were protesting today? Now, we're interested to know that those that were protesting today were not from the angle of the SRC. Now, the university get an SRC, that is the Student Representative Council, where you have the university president, vice president, secretary. These are the people that are responsible to represent the students. Now, the protest today was led by an organization on the campus called the Intellectual Militant Brigade. So there is an opposition or organization to the SRC. How are you getting the background of this whole protest?
I getting you, sir.
Now, the protest was the university, you know that we are in a transition process. We just appointed a new president of the leg of that door, Tukpa, that mobile Tukpa. He's the current appointed president for the university, and the induction ceremony will be this month, the 29th. Now, so it was day before yesterday when we saw an additions in the student fees. That is for every department they added $5. Every department. I'm from the Department of College or Natural and Applied Science. Hmm? Back then we were paying $20 per credit hour. But now we add $5, which which increases to $25 per credit hour. So every department. But now we're interested to know that those who were protesting, the leaders of the protest group today, were invited, you know, were invited were invited by the administration before the whole issue about the addition of the school fees, and they were given the green light. But they failed to notify the students. Not to say anything, the protest for today, they were not informed. Those people were informed ahead of time, along with the SRC. They were informed ahead of time. But they failed to inform the students. And now, within a twinkling of an eye, they saw the add-ons in the system, and they tried to in the next day they protest. Now, I told you there are procedures in handling issues, most especially diplomatic issue. And the first thing is the protester lack is that that is a private university. So Joseph, let me give this scenario. I think I think one of your background is Nigerian. I'm getting you.
Amos, please mute yourself. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
All right. So the scenario I'll give you, that is a private university. So Joseph, you own a university, right? You own a
Mm-hmm.
university. You you was given a full right and mandate by the Ministry of Education to run your university. The only thing students should protest for is when you are going against the curriculum or other things that are against the Ministry of Education. These are things the students should protest for, or basic necessity, like the student pays for Wi-Fi, they don't get it, or the student pay for, you know, things where the university not afford. These are things that private university students protest for. But not where in the university increase their school fees. The thing is optional. If the people increase their school fees and you can't meet up with the school fees the university is offering, you take a leave, you take a transfer, because the people is the people is running a private institution, not a public institution. Now, in a scenario of UL students will be right if they protest because it is government university, it's not a private university. So students of UL will protest if they increase school fees. But not private university. You go to Stella Maris increase their school fees every semester. You go to Blue Cross, they increase their school fees every semester. Now, so the increase of the school fees, if the brigade wanted or to sort things out that the university will be able to decrease the school fees, they could have go through a diplomatic process, that is through a dialogue. For ambassador, it was interesting to know that these people never went through this channel. They just hear they just saw the stuff up in the system yesterday and they plan protest today. In a decent society, there is not how protests work. This is not how protests work. So you engage you protest should be the last part of decision making. That is, if you engage in your dialogue and the people don't want to cooperate, thereafter you take the radical stance. But so from that perspective, that is why I 100% go against the protest. And secondly, I told you that those that were protesting was not a student representative council. Now, the protesters gathered this morning with petition all in their hands, with placards and a petition. Now, the university, the administration of the university invited them for a dialogue, and they refused to go for a dialogue. Why you petitioning? All right, you say these people, their school fees should be reduced. The 5% you are on the school fees, you should take it off from there. And people say, okay, come, let's discuss the thing and let's sort things out. You say you can go. So to me, to some extent, the protest was meaningless. That's why I told some of these comrades. I think I even shared a post on my Facebook page yesterday when the SRC called for a dialogue with the administration, because these are diplomatic channels. But the brigade, being an opposition to the SRC and being an opposition, and I will close with this because I know we have limited time. The brigade is an extension of soup. You get me?
I
The
getting you.
brigade, the brigade on our campus is an extension of soup. So anybody in administration or anybody in a student representative council that they are not in favor of, they will always cause a chaotic scene that will make the students go against the administration. Those students that are not knowledgeable to the code will go against the administration, will go against the SRC because they are not in their favor. So this is how the whole protest was orchestrated. But it was not any advocacy for the students. These are the same brothers that can go to the administration and get their $20, get a $50 US, and leave the students in a dilemma. These are the same brothers that gather students today. And those students that gather, they say they were protesting for rent. I paid them, because many of them, if I interview majority of them, not a single one can give any alternative reason of which they were protesting today. They will say they're protesting for the decreasing of the 5%. They call you for dialogue, you say no. and there's a private university. If you say the people increase their school fee, you get the money, you leave. You leave. So I'll stop here for now. Thank you.
So, thank you so much, Mr. Sipu. Thank you ever so much. A young advocate, student leader, and one of the ambassador for Magibi County. We want to say thank you. But just 2 minutes, Sipu, tell us the importance of the 5% increasement and tell us about your role. I understand that you are part of the Peace Corps in the United Methodist University and also part of the Student Representation Council. So tell us, I overheard you saying something about dialogue that they call the SRC for dialogue. Tell us the result of the dialogue and tell us your role play.
All right, so thank you. So just for correction, I'm part of the Integrity Club, not the Peace Club, and I'm not part of the SRC, but I'm a student advocate and a student leader on a university campus. Now, if you ask about the 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 reason for which they increase the school fees from $20 per credit hour to $25 per credit hour.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that is in the purview of the administration. Administration did an increasement. Now, like I told you from my earlier from my previous presentation, this issue about the additional 5% was not done abruptly. So you see, the people call the SRC and even the very brigade into a conference room and inform them that there will be an addition in the school fees next semester. But they were not specific to say, oh, there will be 5% or 10% or 20%. You get me right? They were not
Yeah.
specific, but we told them that there will be an addition in the school fees next semester. So the brigade and the SRC were aware. So now it is the responsibility of the brigade and the SRC to question the administration that why they say that you all want to increase the 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 school fees, knowing fully well that we are in a deplorable economy. Question the administration, and every funding you get from the administration, you bring it back to the students and tell the students the way out. But they didn't do anything of such. They didn't do anything of such. So as for the dialogue the administration called for today, right now, I can give anything substantive to it, but within a period of 2 to 3 days, uh, my sources will give me information that which I'll be able to share with the public. But for now, I can say anything on the outcomes of the dialogue today. But one thing for sure that I can promise the students of the United Methodist University is that their school fees will be reduced. The school fee will be reduced, but not on the basis of that protest they did today. Nah, not on the basis of the protest they did today. Now, there are some administrative decisions that were made. I thought to share this. It is confidential, but I thought to share just a few on the show. There are some administrative decisions that were made without some administrator consent. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
based on that, there will be a review of the decisions that were made. Based on that, they had administrative meeting yesterday on the compound on at the headquarters of the United Methodist Church, and they had another administrative meeting on the school compound. So from what I'm hearing from other sources, these two meetings and from the dialogue today, there will be a decreasement in the school fees, but it was not from the protest the guys did today.
All right. Thank you ever so much, Mr. Sipu, student leader. Thank you ever so much. So we have heard enough. Again, I guess that Central TV will be hosting the Student Representative Council President on Saturday tomorrow at 9 o'clock. So I think he will provide another detailed information concerning about the increasement of $5 added on the previous $20 at the United Methodist University. So it's good, right? It's good. I love the kind of way you address the issue. You know, students these days probably they might hear about the way I know. I heard you bringing about distinction a private and governmental institution, governmental university, private university, looking at SUP and that of kind of a good. But thank you ever so much. Can you tell us about looking at today's you being occupied in so many capacities into this youth leadership? Can you tell us what is significance of youth participating into the to this leadership holistically?
Yeah, so thank you, Josepha, again. Indeed. So that is one questions that I think many young people need to get a clearer and broader, you know, scenario on. Now, youth in leadership have always been instrumental, most especially when it comes to Africa independence. It has always been the young people that have advocated. You hear about the apartheid in South Africa, you hear about the young people advocating in Cape Verde. These are always been young people that lead their country into a better future. And now, one thing I can say for sure, youth have always been instrumental when it comes to decision making in their nations. You know about the leg of Thomas Sankara from Burkina Faso, where he was not school up to university, but he told the Burkinabes, because at first Burkina Faso was called Upper Volta. He said we need to change our name from being Upper Volta to Burkinabe, that is the upright people, and our land will be called Burkina Faso. You hear about the cultural word of Patrice Emery Lumumba when he told the Congolese that the Belgians will no longer read the history of the Congolese, and that the Congolese will reread their history. You read about the cultural works of Kwame Nkrumah. You read about the cultural works of Nelson Mandela. You read about the cultural works of Julius Kambarage Nyerere from Tanzania. You read about all the great leaders. These were young people. And one thing I want to say to our current dispensation of young people is that history will only remember you if you take charge. So one of my professor won't ask me these questions. Say, Samuel, what if you die now? What will be the difference between your birth certificate and that of your death certificate? It was it was kind of funny to me. But he said you must do things for history to remember you. You must do things positively for history to remember you. So I think our youth nowadays need to take the mantle and then look at our past, because history has always taught us what has happened to prepare our for the future and to plan for the current status quo. So now, looking at our surrounding, youth integration is necessary, because statistics prove that two-thirds of the African populations are all young people. And it was interesting to know that we are the real victims. So say we are the real victims coming from post-war and post-colonial roots, we should be the real actors. We should be the actors for 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 this for implementation of this policy. Now, you have heard about Africa Agenda 2063, and it was interesting to know that that when you do a survey, Joseph, to 100% of the schools in Liberia, not even 99 or 80 to 99 students can be able to tell you what is Africa Agenda 2063. You know the reason is because the young people are not given the opportunity to take the mantle, to take the courage. Now, if a young person having the potential in Africa to do things, you'll find out that there are limited support. There are limited support. Here's why one professor once told me, he said that we were told that we are the future leaders of tomorrow, but the politicians of the day having shown that tomorrow never comes. It is certain. It is certain. One of the main reasons that you see Europe and America, China, Asia are flourishing, it is because the young people are the ones that are in the forefront. How many old Chinese can come in Liberia to do or to build bridge or to do a survey? How many old Americans can come in Liberia to come for tourism? How many old Indian men can come in Liberia for business? Ah, all of these people that can come to Africa are all young people, and you will find out that based on the preference of young people in these people economy, it is what making the economy to flourish. It's not making the economy to flourish. So until we can exhibit self-esteem and empower our young people in Africa, Africa will go nowhere. So I just mentioned about Africa Agenda 2063. Africa Agenda 2063 talks about inter-trading with countries, talks about bilateral, bilateral movements. It talks about a peaceful Africa. It talks about Africa wherein they will be having a one passport. All of these things are not being taught in our schools. How will the young people be aware of it? How will the young people know that there is an agenda that before 2063, this how the AU plan to this how the AU wants for Africa to be. How will this agenda be achieved? It is only we bring on young people on board that we can be able to get a better Africa or better governance system. And I'm impressed with these days you, most especially in Liberia. We are changing the narrative. We are changing the status quo. Before we are so subject than being a citizen. You'll find out before that a person will, or government official or a politician will just come and say anything and we fall prey to it. But these days we are questioning them. Why is it that we should do this? Why is it that we should do this? So that's what impressed me more from our youth these days, because we are questioning the status quo. We are not falling prey to their political rhetoric. And I can tell you, if we remain on the trajectory from now to the next decade, Liberia will be a better country. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. I wish the show could extend to like 2 hours plus. The contribution, and one thing I will tell you, Sibu, your contribution and your difference in society is on a crucial and essential role. What am I trying to say? I'm simply saying that your contribution, both in your university, your communities, and your nation at large, is on an essential basic. Every contribution you make to this country is important. Every contribution you make to societies is important. I always admire two of us working together from Voices Liberia and other entity that probably you know of and you are aware of from the United Methodist Church and what have you. So, these are things you have to hold fast to this narrative. The difference we have made, my grandfather always tell me this, right? He said, even though when you go in the bathroom, it's not every water that touch your skin. But remember that the one that doesn't touch your skin, remember how to maintain it when it fall on the ground. Like for example, right? Probably you have about 5 different goals that you need to achieve in less than 1 year. In another way, there is an alternative. If you cannot obtain these 5 goals, you want to obtain 3. Why? Because of the next 2. Are you going to push the next 2 to the following year, or are you going to let go it forever? That's the simple way the Bible was trying to say. So we always accept you in society, accept your contribution. Amos, is there any contribution to youth into this leadership?
Yeah, Josepha, you into this leadership and it must be a youth. During those days, our people felt that age, leadership was all about time, but there's 3 things in life that you should understand. Life is all about age, time, and degree. But today, we, the youth of today, we are not really looking at age and degree, but rather we are looking at today youth. If we take leadership, we are brave. We stand up, we talk to things, and youth of today's, if we compare to leadership of yesterday, our leadership would be somehow like, I can grade our leadership because we have ample time to read, we have ample time to do research, and 95% of things that are done today, it is being done by youth. Because like look like today in reading, and every day government is putting up new vacancy for youth, putting our parents have getting the knowledge that yes indeed the youth is now ready to take our country, to take Africa and take our global village to the next stage. So youth today in moving somewhere and we are doing something. And as one of the philosophers who said, don't sit there, do something. We are not sitting, but rather every day we are trying, we are eager to learn, because leadership today and Josepha is all about, let's say, competition. Because if you are in leadership today and are in opposition, I will push you so that you do something, and I want you to do things that when somebody else comes up with, oh, Josepha was there, this is what he did. And look at the past government. 85% of those who were in government during the time of ex-president George Manuel Weah were youth. And today, Ambassador Joseph Human Boakat, president of the Republic of Liberia, most of his things that he are doing in Liberia today, he's giving a youth chance to work because he know that age has catch up with our parents. So youth today, we are doing best. We are doing our best. We are trying our best, but we need more from our parents, and we need more for central government. We need more from the world so that youth can move forward. Because most of the summit you are seeing, most of the summits you will see, most of what you will see will be all about youth, 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 youth. When you go to the internet, you will see youth summit of this, youth summit of that. So youth leadership is we have been moving the country forward. We have been moving our town, our villages, our community, and even in the schools, youth are now taking leadership. You will see that most of the principals of today's are youth. We are no more looking at 65-year-old men to be principal for school. We are no longer looking for 45, 50-year-old men to be boss for a particular entity. No. Because at first, when you haven't reached 35, you haven't reached 45, you haven't reached 60, you haven't reached 55, then you cannot take leadership. But most of the leadership today is being in the hand of the youth, and we are doing the best. We are doing our best. So I think I would say bravo to the youthful age of today, because Joseph, we are doing our best. And look at Liberia today. Look at most of the ministers, although they may be in your area 40, but they are almost like in their youthful
Amos, one
age.
minute, please.
Assistant
Amos,
minister,
1 minute.
ministers, and directors, they are all youth. And Labio is moving forward.
Amos. Okay, thank you so much.
Now,
Thank you, Amos. All right, so bravo to today's youth. We are not looking for 65-year-old men to become principal again. We are not looking for 40-year-old men to become secretary for school. The youth are making a difference, and the difference shall be made. I probably believe that after the first 6 years of His Excellency Ambassador Joseph Imambuaga, I think there'll be a lot of changes, and we pray that when the Congress for Democratic Change, which is the Matter CDC, comes 2029, there will be if CDC get in power, or the ANC or the CMC or whatever political party that will be opportune to take seat in 2029, will be able to continue with the footprint of His Excellency Ambassador Jose Imambuaga. Lastly, our last discussion point, looking at the recent incident that occurred in the House of Representatives of the Deputy Speaker allegedly, telling the Speaker proper that he's still learning, he's still learning a job. The man doesn't know the work, he's still learning. And a concern be raised by one of the representative of district number 3 of Bonkante, I think Bonkante. Yeah. What's your thought on that, Mr. Sipu? Sipu, are you getting me? Hello, Sipu. Darius, are you hearing me? Amos,
yeah, Joseph.
Amos. Yes. So, what's your take
Okay.
on the
Yeah,
the,
yeah.
the deputy speaker apologizing to the speaker proper?
Am I clear now?
You are you are
You
clear. You
know,
are clear.
Joseph, there are some times when you are in position. There are some things you are not. You getting me?
Yeah. 2 minutes, please.
There are some times when you are in position. Yeah, there are some times when you are in position. There are some things you are not to say. But telling the speaker, but the deputy speaker telling the speaker says, assuming that the speakership is his first national duty, he was right. But it wasn't the rightful time to say it. And you know what our people say? The hour crash at night. That's what people call the hour. They say it is witchcraft bread, but it is the time that the hour talk. So, but the deputy speaker saying that it was God's insubordinate. So, by his appearing, by him apologizing to the speaker, he was right, and it shows leadership. It shows that he's willing to work, and our legislature is willing to take Labrador to the next level.
Thank you. Sipu, can we hear from you?
Am I clear?
You are clear. Loud.
Yeah, so thank you again, Grams. The issue concerning the speaker and that of the deputy speaker are issue that people once reply to, once more
Sipu,
think
1 minute,
critically.
please. Amos, can you mute yourself? Go ahead, Sipu.
All right. So, as I was saying, the issue concerning both the deputy speaker and that of the speaker are issues that people won't reply to once more think critically and know the onset of the statement of the deputy speaker. Now, to some extent, I hardly respond to legislative matter, most especially when it comes to or the House of Representatives, because on countless occasions these people have proven not to be our legislators but to be our jokers. the House of Representatives. I'm specifying it. Now, let address the issue. Uh, it is on record. Uh, one Nima County representative, impression of Honorable Musa Hassan Berede, once stated that Speaker Kun only have the gavel, but all of the major decisions that are done in the house, it is it is it is done by Thomas Farah, who is the deputy speaker. Now, it says you will not. It says the only way you know what is in this house is that a person from this house speak out. And now that coming from Honorable Berede, it need to be taken into considerations, because all of these committees that you see, all of these people that you see on committee today, Joseph, or if you do a survey, are all recommendation. Majority of it are recommendation from the angle of the deputy speaker. I know some may say the speaker granted because of, personal reasons, or because in or the deputy speaker is a friend and what have you. But that is reality, Joseph. Kun, to some extent, is not knowledgeable when it comes to legislative proceedings as compared to Farah. Some Our representatives have testified countless times that Farah is the governing father in our House of Representatives right now, despite Kun being the speaker. And he are proving over and over and over. So the thing that Farah said publicly are things that they've been saying in their house. And not things that is surprising to the speaker. Now, when Farah stated that, it tell you that the speaker never heard it. He heard it, but it was another representative that raised the concern before Farah can apologize. Why didn't the speaker say, oh, since Farah say this, he himself raised the issue and say, Farah, you need to apologize and this and that. The speaker heard it, but confronted the issues. He left it as it is. That is because of the positions of Farah in the house. That is because of the position of Farah in the house. And Stomach Farah, why I say I don't take these people to be serious. Stomach Farah once stated on Spoon Talk that he cannot take any of the statement backs. That is, if he say anything today, that was in the case where Yege Koruba. He said when you say anything today, whether you are opposition leader or you in government, you cannot take a statement back. And there is the same Stomach Farah that apologizing. There is the same Stomach Farah that apologizing. And it was interesting to know that the new proceedings of the House of Representatives is just on impeachment. That is, if you say things, nobody is entitled to their statement, and whether it is done in a joking form or it is done, nobody is entitled to their own saying. You cannot say anything against the speaker. You cannot say anything against any lawmakers. That is, if you say it, they will take the issue out of him, and then they will impeach you. That is how the House of Representatives is proceeding, and that is not a democracy, because democracy gave birth to expressions. I'm not endorsing the idea of Father referring to the speaker of not knowing parliamentary proceeding, what have you. But what I'm saying is that the current status quo of the legislature, specifically the House of Representatives, does not simplify the true meaning of democracy. Now, having you guys noticed that since Jeke Koruba was, or let's just say, impeached, since Jeke Koruba was impeached or was voted out by the House of Representatives, it has spent over, I think, it going to 6 months. There are not been a single court to the national election, or there are not been a single process as it relates to by election. And mind you, we are approaching the presidential election in 2020 now. And since then, there are not been a single stop. And we this year is almost to an end. We are in the 7th month of this year. So to tell you that the way in which the people proceeded to remove the Honorable Koruba back then was not the rightful channel. So because of that, there are other hindrances on the way. I listened to Yege or day before yesterday on Spoon Talk, and he tried to even start say he told Stanton, he said Stanton, why they say that you think these people can cover by election? I just waiting for them to cover by election to see for the House of Representatives have serious issues that need to be addressed in the country, but yet and still they continue to play with our national interests. Now, it was the same House of Representatives doing the intense pressure of the Guinea and Liberia border crisis. Like when at the border, instead of investigating the matter, they started dancing. When they started dancing, there are video clips to prove. The House of Representatives, I'm discussing members of the House of Representatives, they went at the Guinea border instead of investigating the ongoing situation. They when they started dancing. We have nothing but on just issue that is in the country that is yet to be resolved. We saw the efforts of the Senate by inviting the joint security. What have the House of Representatives done? Represented as jokers. Some people take it to be personal, but this is the reality because these guys have continued to demonstrate terms with our number that they are all jokers. So with the statement coming from Father, and I don't endorse it, but there's that usual joking things that they up to, and there's a reality. There's nothing strange in our house. There's nothing strange. Everything that is
Okay.
going on in that house, it is being done by Father, who only has the gavel of authority. Thank you.
So thank you ever so much. Thank you again to our listener, to our followers. We want to say if you just joining us, this is the Central Communication Network, and this is the Youth Frontier comes your way every Friday at 9 o'clock to 10 o'clock. And we are opportune today to have in studio one of the student leader, student advocate, and activist of Liberia, specifically based in Magibi County. Uh, Activist D. Samuel Sipu Jr. of the United Methodist University. So we want to say thank you ever so much. Sipu, 30 seconds. What's the public statement?
Nothing much to say, just to extend again a great facilitations to the family of Sandra TV for always providing this platform. These are platforms that the young people are in search of, for their voices to be heard on the larger society so that people can know what is unfolding. You will not know what is unfolding in Mama Liberia until someone that is going through the pain, someone that know the existing status quo can be able to narrate a story to you. There are other people that are in the diaspora feel that everything is going well in Mama Liberia. It is not so. That is not how things is operating in Mama Liberia. So once again, to whosoever that using their resources to make sure that they broadcast go across, I want to say a heads up to that person and to the entire Sanja TV family, and also to you, ambassador, for always getting me on board. It is a pleasure, to be a part of this meaningful dialogue so that the people voice can be heard. So once again, I'm humble. I'm this Samuel Sibu Jr. and it's a pleasure being on this platform. Thank you.
It's a pleasure also having you on this platform. Amos, 30 seconds. Your public statement.
Okay, let me first of all say thank you to the staff and management of this platform, the Central TV, for offering me the opportunity to appear on this platform. And today, Josepha, for sure, I'm overwhelmed to be chosen among thousands of youth within Liberia to today be on the platform discussing issues that affects our country and affect our global village. Again, let me say thank you to you and thank you to the management and staff of Central TV. I'm available at all time to work with them. I'm available at all time to discuss issue, national, local, and international issues on this platform.
And thank you so much, Amos P, for the brief remark. Thank you again for making your way on Central Communication Network. It's a pleasure having you guys here to discuss issues that affect our country and the international world. We are here again next Friday at 9 o'clock to bring you another edition of the Youth Prime Time Central Communication Network. Until then, I'm Ambassador Josie for DM Grant. It was a pleasure having you. Goodbye. Have a pleasant good night, all of you.